What's going on, all my toy collectors and Superman fans out there? You know who it is. It's your boy Ox, and welcome to the Cave of Wonders. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new DC Multiverse Superman vs. Doomsday box set by McFarlane. Now I've been waiting for McFarlane to drop a Doomsday figure for a while now, so I'm really excited to open this up and take a look at it. So let's get to it. Alright guys, starting off first, let's take a look at the front of the box. You can see right here on the bottom it says DC Multiverse Superman vs. Doomsday. Has a clear package window showing you the two characters that are in this 2-pack. Up here on the left, it lets you know it's part of the McFarlane Gold label collection. Now I ordered this from Target, but I'm not sure if it's a Target exclusive, but I'm going to leave a link in the description below in case you guys decide to pull the trigger and go ahead and order this, alright? On the lower left, you can see a little symbol for 85 years of Superman. Now I've already measured the box up for you guys. It's 12 inches long by 11 inches tall by 4 inches wide. So that's how much shelf space you're going to need if you decide to display this on the box, alright guys? And let's take a look at that barcode real quick. You guys can go ahead and pause this and take a screenshot in case you guys are looking for it at Target in the stores. Superman vs. Doomsday. And on the back, it gives you some cool comic book artwork of the death of Superman. And this was really big. I was born in the 80s, so I remember growing up knowing that Superman, the man who just couldn't be beat, finally ended up getting killed by Doomsday. This was a big thing for me, so I'm really excited to add this to my collection. I hope the figure's everything that I was expecting it to be, so let's go ahead and rip it out of the package, all right? Okay, starting off first, let's go ahead and take a look at this Doomsday figure because he's the figure I'm most excited about in this 2-pack. He doesn't come with any kind of accessories or weapons or extra hands or swappable head or anything, just the figure alone. And he's almost about 10 inches tall, so he's a mega figure. And this is the first time that McFarlane put a mega figure in a 2-pack, and I'm really excited that he did because I like the fact that he's a lot bigger than this Superman. As you can see, he towers over him. I want my Doomsday to be big, bulky, and intimidating on my shelf next to my Superman figures, so I'm really excited he decided to make Doomsday a mega figure. Now, taking a look at him up close, man, look at all that sculpting. It just looks amazing. I mean, I love this figure. I loved it when they first said they were releasing it, so I was really excited to finally get it when it came in the mail the other day. Now I can see some reuse in the arms right here, maybe even the chest and these spikes right here from the Devastator figure that McFarlane had did when he first got the DC license. Maybe some resculpting as well, because I don't remember this piece being right here on the Devastator figure, but I'll do a comparison at the end for you guys, okay? Now, taking a look at his eyes, you guys can see right here that it has some red right around that white pupil right there, and then some black shadow, and that just makes him look really devilish, man. I love that. The fact that his mouth does articulate, it can open. You can see like that dark burgundy tongue in there. So they went the more darker scheme with this guy, which is really cool because that's what I would want. I would want him to look really mean, really brooding, and really devilish. And taking a look, you guys can see also some whitewash right over the gray. I'm sure some of you guys are going to grab some black wash and throw it over here to make him, all his muscles and all the spikes and everything pop out, bone or whatever. But I'm just going to go ahead and keep it like this because I love the way it looks. I don't see any reuse in his lower end down here. I don't remember any of this stuff being used on any other figures. Maybe, but I don't think so. Like I said, I don't collect every figure that comes out. I'm not like a completist in every line. I just buy the figures that I like, the characters that I love. Now, taking a look at his articulation, his hair isn't hard, so you can go ahead and lift that up out the way of the spikes, and you can rotate his head all the way around. He does look down pretty far, which is good because, like I said, the Superman figure is shorter than him, so I'm going to have him looking down at him like that. He does look up pretty far. His mouth does open and close. His arms do come up. They do rotate around. He doesn't have any kind of bicep swivel right here. He has single jointed elbows right there. His wrist does rotate around. They do go up and down right here on this little hinge, so you can kind of make him look like he's making a fist when he's looking at Superman. His upper torso does have a lot of articulation. It's on a ball joint, so it can lean left, it can lean right. He can go back about that far, lean forward. It does rotate around. Same with his waist. He does have waist swivel. So he has a lot of upper articulation, which is good because I'm going to be putting him in a lot of different poses. Now these pants right here, this part of his pants end up rendering his leg from coming up, but you just got to move them out the way just a little bit. But his foot does come up to there. They do go out. You can see that McFarlane ratchet joints right there. He doesn't have any kind of calf rotation. I thought he did because you can see a line right here, but this doesn't swivel around. He has single jointed knees. I had to heat these up. I thought because one goes really far and then this one doesn't, Now I might have to heat it up again because I don't want to break this figure, but it looks like this knee might go up a lot more. I just can't get it to like I did this one right here. And then it does rotate around right here. His foot does go up, does go down. It does rock back and forth. So he does have a lot of articulation, but after I heated him up, I noticed that his legs, I wouldn't say loose. It's just because I display my figures on glass. When I'm displaying them, they kind of start sliding open a little bit. So, you know, you just got to make sure you stand them in the right pose. Maybe use that little figure stand that McFarlane puts with all his figures right there. I mean, he stands up by himself. I just noted since I heated him up that his legs kind of slide. But like I said, it could be because I'm using it on glass. But as you can see, his legs, they kind of slide out a little bit. But it might have been just because I just heated him up in order to do this review for you guys, because he was pretty stiff out of the box. But yeah, right there's Doomsday. Let's take a look at Superman, and I'll do a couple comparisons for you guys, okay? Okay, now looking at the Superman in the 2-pack, out of the box, you can see he has 2 open hands right there, like gripping hands. And then he comes with 2 flight hands right here in case you want to put him in a flight pose. And they're the exact same hand on each side. But I would have much rather them put him with fisted hands because it's a Superman versus Doomsday 2-pack. Why wouldn't you put him with fisted hands so I could show him punching Doomsday? Now, I have other Supermans with this exact same sculpt, and I know that they have fisted hands, so I could swap those out. But that's only because I have like 3 other Supermans that McFarlane had came out with. You know, for people who just bought this pack and this is their first Superman that they're buying from McFarlane, it would have been nice for him to come with 2 closed fists. My opinion, of course, but that's what I think. Now, taking a look at the, you know, the whole figure itself, this is obviously reuse of the same sculpt. McFarlane has done this sculpt for Superman a few different times. Luckily, me, like I said, if you guys watch my channel, I don't collect everything. So I think I have a Bizarro figure and I have the affected Superman figure. So I don't have a Hush Superman that he had already came out with like the darker eyes up here. I don't have all the other Supermans that he came out with that have this exact same body. So this is actually my first time getting a normal Superman, you know, from McFarlane. And I was waiting for something like this to come out, so I'm really happy that it did, because so that's why I'm not complaining too much about the reuse, but he has reused this body a whole bunch of times. But yeah, taking a look at the face, you can see it's different than the other Hush Superman that he came out with. He has a lot of battle damage. You can see him bleeding right there. His eyes aren't glowing like the first Hush Superman that he had came out with. His battle damage all right here, basically from him fighting Doomsday. You can see it right here on his shoulders. Now, obviously, that's just paint. That's not any kind of, you know, difference in chest piece and sculpt work or anything like that. But I like the way it looks. But it would have been nice if this was like more ripped and tore up, kind of like his tape, like his cape right here. So his cape is pretty tore up. I would like this suit to be a little more tore up, you know, going toe-to-toe with Doomsday. But other than that, like I said, I'm not complaining. I like the figure. I'm really happy to add Superman to my collection right here. So let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation. His head does go all the way around if you want it to. It doesn't look up too far. So when you're having him in flight poses, it's almost like he's looking down. So I would like his head to go back a little bit more. And his head goes down about that far right there. His arms come up, they do rotate around. He does have bicep swivel right there. He does have double jointed elbows. As you've seen, Doomsday only has single jointed elbows. His wrists do rotate around. They do go in, they do go out. His elbow doesn't rotate around, as you notice Doomsday's did right here. Not only did it bend, but it also rotated around. His upper torso is on a ball. I said torso. Upper torso is on a ball joint right here, so it does rock back and forth. It does go back about that far. It does go forward about that far. His waist does rotate around. His legs kick out to about there. You can see that McFarlane ratchet joint right there. His leg does kick up pretty far right there. No kind of calf swivel right here. Double jointed knees right there. No kind of boot cut or anything. It doesn't rotate around here. His foot does go up, does go down, does rock back and forth. As you can see right here, he does have toe articulation, with Doomsday didn't. Like I said, I was really happy that Doomsday actually didn't have that toe articulation, because those bigger figures always just tip over. So like I said, I know a lot of people are probably not happy about this Superman because it is reuse of the same body mold over and over and over again. But this is my first time having a regular Superman figure. Like I said, I bought the Infected Superman and I bought the Bizarro Superman. They just hadn't came out with the Superman that I liked yet, that I wanted to go buy or that I came across. I'm a toy hunter, so I like to toy hunt. So I was really excited to go ahead and get this figure. Like I said, I know a lot of you are probably like, this is the same old Superman figure that I basically paid for. Well, I haven't paid for it yet, so I'm really excited to go ahead and get it now. But yeah, that's how he looks. Let's do a couple comparisons, all right, guys? Okay, now here's a comparison of a couple Doomsday figures that I have. This one right here is made by Kenner from 1995 in the Man of Steel line. As you can see, they had Doomsday in a 2-pack as well with Hunter Prey Superman. But that right there is the Kenner Doomsday. I never took him out of the box, but as you can see, he has more of a chromish on all of his bones and spikes come out, which is pretty cool. I just never opened this pack up right here. And like I said, that's from 1995. That was made by Kenner. This one right here is made by Mattel. I think this was the Superheroes line that Mattel had came out with right here. And yeah, this is the one that I've been using. I love the way this Doomsday looked. I've had this Doomsday for, you know, some decades now, and I love the way he looked. This was just really cool. I loved his eyes, how the bones were just growing right over his eyes right there. So that was really cool. Like I said, I was using this figure right here in my DC Multiverse line until they just came out with this Doomsday figure, and mostly because at the top of his hair right there, he actually stands almost 7 inches. So let's see if I can measure it out for you guys. Yeah, almost 7 inches from the top of his hair right there. And obviously this figure is 7 1/4. So he's a bit bigger. That's why I'm really happy that McFarlane decided to do a Doomsday figure, because I needed one. You know, I've been using this for a while now, and this figure just doesn't measure up to the figures today that McFarlane's doing. So, and yeah, taking a look at these two next to each other, yeah, no complaints. McFarlane always comes through, man, with the sculpting. Like I said, this figure I'm going to keep. I'm always going to have. It's a really cool figure, but this one right here is definitely taking his place on the shelf, man. Now, let's do a comparison of this figure and the Devastator figure that McFarlane had came out with a few years ago, all right? Okay, now here's a quick side-by-side comparison of this old Devastator figure that McFarlane had came out with years ago next to this new Doomsday figure. I wanted to show you guys the reuse and some of the parts real quick and exactly see what was reused. I know right away that the arms are reused. As you can see right here on Doomsday, you can see pieces of his shirt that the Devastator has painted right there. Obviously, it's painted different, so the knuckle, the bones right here aren't dark gray like, you know, like this one is. These ones are like more whitish. So the arms are definitely reused. I thought the head was reused, but from what I can see, it's definitely not. It's a new sculpt right there. The lower part of his abdomen and the chest, I think, are reused as well. I think they just retooled some of this bone right here. The little spikes right here, you can see that's not on the Devastator figure. Even these spikes up here aren't the same. I thought they were when you compare them next to each other, but these ones go in and they're not the exact same spikes. See if I can get that right there. I thought they were, but as you look at them and count them and see how they lay into each other, they're not the exact same. The lower parts of the body, the legs and stuff like that, and even the feet, they're not obviously the same. He has these giant Bigfoot feet. So, and he just towers over this figure. He just makes this Devastator look really small. This should have definitely been a mega figure, but I don't think McFarlane was doing mega figures back then when he first got the DC license. But yeah, right there, that's pretty much the sculpting. And you guys can see the reuse that's in there. Like I said, it might not be the same upper torso because you can see some differences right here than on the Devastator figure right there. And like I said, he has some re-sculpting right here on the front that he doesn't have. But, you know, I think that's what's reused with this figure right here. So let's go ahead and take a look at Superman, all right? Okay, now here's a comparison of that new Superman standing next to some other Superman-like figures that McFarlane had came out with when he first got the license. You can see the Infected Superman. This right here is Bizarro. And as you can see, they all have the exact same, they're all using the exact same bust, exact same body parts, same legs, same chest, same arms. The capes might be different on Bizarro and him, but as you can see, this Infected Superman has the exact same cape as this one right here. Like I said, they're all just painted different. This Bizarro is more of a navy blue. His underwear or trunks aren't painted compared to this Infected one and this Hush Superman right here, to where they're just painted different colors, and obviously they have a different face. He's in the Joker Infected, and you know, he's just battle damage from fighting Doomsday. But I would definitely be upset. I'm not upset personally because this is my first Superman figure by McFarlane, actual Superman figure. But for everybody else who is a completist, who kept buying all the Supermans that McFarlane had came out with, and the fact that he's just reusing the exact same body mold, I would personally be upset, because if McFarlane can do all the different sculpting that he does on all these other figures, he should definitely update his Superman. I'm happy with this one. No complaints from me, but from other people who do collect, I would personally be upset to have 9 of the exact same Supermans just with different faces or different hands. So that would upset me. But as far as from what I have in my collection, I'm really happy with what I have. So no complaints from me, but for everybody else, I could definitely see why you're upset. But yeah, let's do some other comparisons real quick. Okay, now here's that new Superman compared to some older Supermans that I have. They have a lot of battle damage as well. These are older figures. This is made by Kenner. This 2-pack right here shows Massacre and Full Assault Superman. As you can see, he has battle damage right here. He's rocking that old 80s, 90s mullet right there. And then this right here is when Hasbro had bought out Kenner. It's the exact same figure, just he doesn't have a mullet and they have a different cape. But this is that Metello from the DC Superheroes line. And yep, I love this. I really want to take this figure out and display it because I really like that Metello. But yeah, these are the only other battle damage Superman figures that I have. So that's why I wanted to show them to you guys. Okay, now here's a comparison of that new Superman standing next to some DC Direct figures I have from back in the day. These figures are over a decade old or so. This right here is Supergirl. This right here is Superwoman. And they just look really well together. I love these two figures, so I wanted to display them. And luckily, they're just a tad bit shorter than these Multiverse figures, which is fine because I want my Supergirl and my Superwoman to be shorter than Superman. I want him just to look, you know, a lot more bigger and bulky because he's a guy. But they just fit really well together. I'm really happy that I finally got a Superman that just, you know, matches really well in this comic book style with these figures right here. So yeah, that right there is a look at these DC Direct figures. Let's move on. Okay, guys, that was my review of this new Superman vs. Doomsday box set. Overall, I would say maybe a 7 out of 10, only because this Superman is the exact same mold over and over again, and that would upset me if I was collecting all of the Multiverse figures. The Doomsday, I love it. I don't care that they reused the arms and maybe the chest plate from the Devastator figure, because this looks like a completely different figure, and I have no complaints there. And the fact that this Superman doesn't come with any kind of closed fists. I would like him to be able to punch Doomsday. I'm not really a fan of this, claw-like hand that he has right here. You know, it almost looks like, you know, the claw's gonna get you, Doomsday. The claw's coming for you. You should be scared of the claw. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but he should have definitely came with some closed fists. But yeah, man, that right there is a review of these really cool figures. I also forgot to mention that it actually came on a different box. It has a different box art compared to the other Multiverse figures that he had done. As you can see, it looks like a lot of destruction on the back right here, kind of like the comic book. And then you can see the 2 collector's cards that it comes with right there and figure stands. I forgot to mention that in the video. But I think this is actually the first time he didn't have that typical Multiverse backing that he had. This right here is a pretty cool comic book artwork image. So, but yeah, other than that, that was a review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe. Let me know if you guys were buying these figures in the comments. Until then, stay cool.